going to do the start out day with the welcome from Nuu-chah-nulth, Jolene from Nuu-chah-nulth, and then Deb from Nuu-chah. If there are any other members of Nuu-chah-nulth here that would like to stand with their reps, please come up.
Hi everybody, Uklama Suwayakowith. My English name is Jolene Dick. I'm an elected council member with Nuu-chah-nulth First Nation here in the Alberni Valley. It is an honor and a privilege to stand here today as a Nuu-chah-nulth woman, a Nuu-chah-nulth woman, an Indigenous woman, and be here with you all. I apologize, and I guess I apologize right now for not being able to walk with you all from the key. Being parts of walk, being part of the action, being part of the energy is what feeds my soul. And unfortunately, I had another scheduled activity. I do want to, I don't know if Lisa's in the room right now, but I do want to thank her and recognize her for highlighting missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in our territories and beyond for many years. That her work has been very impactful, from the earrings she's made, her participation in the signage on the highway, and so forth. So click O to Lisa Watts if you're in the room, and thank you to the Nuu-chah community for letting her do the work she does, and the Kuwasa team and Nuu-chah-nulth Tribal Council. It's kind of bittersweet to continue standing here in these crowds and these groups, to continue demanding action for our women and girls and LGBTQ2S people who have been failed by the system. Those who have experienced violence more than our non-Indigenous counterparts, and we need action, and we need action now. We have a duty and responsibility to protect our people. Our women and girls are sacred. They have important roles in our community. They are healers, life givers, knowledge keepers. They harvest, they fish, and they nurture our family, homes, and community, and we're all better for it. I look forward to hearing from stories from Chantelle Moore, Annabelle Mark Dick, Lisa Marie Young, Shelley Hoffman, and Nadine Keitla families. My heart is with you, and we are with you. I also noticed there's many more names and many more people that have disappeared from our community and are being honored on the tables right now. I want to thank the Kuwasa Society and the Haven Society, formerly ACAUS, and all the individuals and organizations who do this work with all their hearts and spirits to continue honoring our women and children. Click O, thank you. Oh, and on behalf of the Nuu-chah-nulth community and First Nation Council, all our people in our Hatwea, we thank you for being here today, and chew.
Welcome, and Uklama Quills, Deb Foxcroft, Sishot Aksu. I'm from the Sishot First Nation and the Gallic family. I have connections to Ukiulit and the Tutsi family, in Ditidat, and even down to Makah Nation. I just wanted to acknowledge, I know we have our Hutwith here. I want to acknowledge all of the ones that came out and walked with us. Acknowledge the elders that are, if there's elders here that are present, and the youth that I seen walking, and the children I see out there. That's awesome. I just wanted to welcome you to Sishot unceded traditional territory here in Port Alberni with our neighbors, Nuu-chah-nulth. I wanted to just say that today is celebrating the Red and recognizing Red Dress Day. This is a national event. And I'm just honored to have all of you here, all of you that walked with us, all of you that are sitting with us today. It's an honor. I just also wanted to say Tishot is honored to honor all of you and the memory and the spirits of all the murdered and missing and women and girls and two-spirited people. And I want to acknowledge those who are survivors of the violence. We are all committed to standing with you, supporting families and the murdered and missing Indigenous girls and women and two-spirited people, and survivors in their journey for answers, for justice, and for healing. I just wanted to also recognize and honor the role of women and girls, two-spirit people, in our communities, and support. I just ask that we support and uphold the safety and well-being of all of our women and girls and two-spirited peoples. Sishot and Nuu-chah-nulth have strong teachings and values of the protection of their women, their children, and our girls. We are taught to be Isak, respectful, respect to our women, and we have a collective responsibility to our women and girls to love, protect them, keep them safe from violence and abuse. We are wives, we are mothers, we are grandmothers, we are sisters, and we are aunties. And I just wanted to acknowledge everyone. I know this can be a heavy day for some in terms of grief and loss, and I think as Lina said when we started our walk, and I know that's our teaching, that the rain is healing. It's like tears to wash us and cleanse us today. So that's a good thing that we had the rain today. That's a good sign for all of us, and as we walked in that rain to cleanse us and heal us. I just wanted to just acknowledge the families that have had losses, the ones that are still missing, the ones that probably every day there's somebody that's either missing or there's violence against them. So I just wanted to just say that we're here for you, and we really need to look at how do we in our communities as leaders, not only in our own First Nations communities, Indigenous communities, to ensure that we have safe and caring and loving environments that our children, and especially our girls and women, can grow up in. That's our responsibility. And governments also have a responsibility to ensure that the call for actions are implemented, not just words, but action. So I just wanted to say again, kleko, kleko, usakshiklets, and my prayers and are with you today and for every day. So I just wanted to say thank you, and again, thank you for coming out. Chew.
Thank you, Deb. Before we ask for the family and the reps to come up and make a statement, just wanted to introduce our COASA staff. We're here for support, emotional, and just to help you stand today, to be here. If you're part of the staff, a lot of them are outside helping with the cooking and everything, but there are other people in the room here that COASA staff. If you're in the room, raise your hand so we can see you. Here's and the rest, yep, thank you. And the rest of them are outside helping with the cooking and getting ready for the lunch. I'd like to call on, we have a list of speakers here from different families that want to make statements today. Lisa Marie Young's family want to make a statement.
Good morning, and first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the nations of this territory for allowing us here today to do our work and share our story. My name is Weenak Inuk, Carol Frank from TFN, and my brother Richard Martin, and my sister Ann Barker. We are Lisa Marie Young's, and she's our niece who's been missing since June 30th, 2002 from Nanaimo, BC. Today it's Lisa's birthday, and she would have been 41 years old, so happy birthday, Lisa, we love you. Over the years, we've done many searches with community members, even strangers, the police, and even a psychic. Our family have talked to people who wanted to share information. We've heard many stories, but still we have not found Lisa. Our hearts are heavy as we did not only lose Lisa at a young age, who had a whole life ahead of her, like she could have been married, had kids, and that's what her mom wanted, was always to have grandchildren, and she never did. Not only did we lose Lisa at a young age, we lost her mom in 2017 due to illness. My late sister, let's see it here, worked hard trying to find her only daughter. And I know this contributed to her illness, but she fought till the end. It brings us comfort to know she is with her daughter, Lisa. I'd like to thank all the people over the years for your support for our families, support for our family, because Lisa had a big family. Her dad and 2 brothers are still here. Lisa Watts, thank you to you and your team for the support over the years. We really appreciate all the help you've given us and supported us along the way. Nanaimo RCMP, who are still active in the case, the Red Dress Project, for your support. They've helped us over the years, and they paid for a billboard in Nanuus, so you could see it when you go by. There's a poster on her. Cindy Hall, who's a big advocate in Nanaimo. She does a lot for our group, the Lisa Marie Young group. Laura Palmer, for all your work with the podcast, our Facebook group. Fila, the special force team from Vancouver, Butterflies in Spirit, for including Lisa in your tributes. And I just want to let you know a few of our things that we're doing. There's Meatless May, as Lisa was a vegetarian. June 26th, we're doing a walk in Nanaimo for Lisa. It'll be 20 years on June 30th. And we'll be walking from the police station to the waterfront with speakers to follow. And then June 30th, we have lights on for Lisa. So they ask that people post pictures of their lights on the Facebook group. I'd really like to thank everyone that's here today for all your support, and my love goes out to the ones that have missing or murdered loved ones, and I know it's not just women, it's boys and men. And I just seen Phyllis Fleury's TikTok last night about her son that's been missing 4 years yesterday. And he was 20 years old from Prince George. And she's traveled a lot from Prince George to Vancouver to look for him, but hasn't found him yet. But it was really good to see all the youth here, the young guys and girls. Thank you for coming to show your support and show your strength. Thank you. Jude. Say anything?
Thank you. I've been informed that there's candles on the side there. If people would like to light those candles and respect their loved ones, feel free to go to the side there where those white candles are and light one up. Chantelle Moore's family.
Yes. It's great, it's great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Frank. I am from the Martin family. First of all, I want to thank the organizers, Lisa. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, our hearts. I'm Chantelle Moore's grandmother. These are my sisters, Louise and Nora, my niece Corinne. These past couple years have been very hard. Watching what was happening today, honoring missing and murdered women and girls and men. It's so nice to see us pull together and show that support for all of us that are going through these tough times, losing our loved ones or still missing. I got a phone call yesterday from my daughter Martha in New Brunswick. It was really hard to hear that what the coroner said about my granddaughter, Chantelle. He wants to talk to a witness, and we asked why. And he said they were trying to figure out if it was cop suicide, and I was angry when I heard that, because I don't think that my granddaughter ever thought about suicide. It's been a really hard time hearing what the coroner has said and the BEI. We have so many questions as to why she had a broken leg, a broken arm, and more gunshots than they say. Bruises on her body. A lot of this stuff is not in the report from the BEI. May 13th, I traveled along with my husband and my 2 sons and a brother going to New Brunswick for the inquiry of my late granddaughter, Chantelle. It's been very, very emotional these past few days, thinking about what I'm going to hear. It's going to be a tough one. But I know that back home, I'll have all the support of Nuu-chah-nulth and all the areas on the West Coast. I give great thanks to a lot of people that have been there for our family. Gord Johns sent me a message while we were walking. He's in Ottawa right now. He had brought up Chantelle's name in the house. It warmed my heart to know that there's somebody there in that house that is reminding them that my granddaughter's death has not been dealt with yet. Reading that, for the longest time, I just felt like it kept getting pushed under the carpet because we were supposed to do the inquiry last December, and they postponed it to February. February came and it was postponed again to May. I feel for all the families that are missing loved ones. Lisa Marie Young, she's our niece. I think about her a lot. I'm always real grateful to this lady. Her name is Cindy Hall, I believe. Keeping Lisa's name out there. All over Canada, there's support. I get all excited when I see TikToks made and my granddaughter Chantelle's name comes up in there. She's not forgotten. She'll never be forgotten. My daughter Martha was wishing she could have been here, but she's in New Brunswick doing a walk over there and waiting for us to arrive there for the inquiry. So I ask that keep us in your prayers. Thank you. Stay golden.
Call on Agnes Keitla.
And we're just, oops. We'll fix it again.
Hello, my name is Agnes Keitla. There's so much to be said on the unnecessary loss we all endured. And it's not just one person who lost, it's a wave effect of people who had anything to do with our lost sisters. Nadine is the middle child of Nelson Keitla and Ida August Keitla. Her birthday is tomorrow and on Saturday. She has 2 birthdays. I've shared this before. She was born right at midnight on a boat going to Tofino at Catface. She was very proud of that. There's so many fond memories I do have of my late sister, and I think of what a tragedy it is as well. She missed out on her children growing up, seeing her grandchildren. I do know she loved her children very, very much. And I do know my sister was a very humble, lovely, lovely lady. There had been 2 years that had gone by. I hadn't seen her. And I finally ran into her in Victoria, and she was, it's hard to explain, but long story short, she had been rendered homeless in the 2 years I had not seen her. And before that, she would give me anything off her back. She never tried to have much. She was always happy for whatever she got, and just happy to, in any situation, she always made the best of that. And that kind of inspired me, because in my younger years, I was in a very dark place. And to hear this from my younger sister on how she strived as, you know, a young lady, and to live on the street by no fault of her own. And just before her passing, she had lost her partner of 20 years. They really, really loved each other. I know that. Reason why they were on the street is because they didn't allow couples in shelters. They didn't like to be apart. And I understand that. And I really believe the unsaid parts are like something we just want to turn a blind eye to. This shouldn't happen. Let's not talk about it. Let's not, celebrate this. Let's not bring attention to something bad. But once, this is brought out, there will be more attention brought to the younger generation, and they will stop the violence on themselves and know, hey, you can't do this to me, and get out when they can, or realize their rights when there's violence against them from the police, or, you know, with this happening, last year was very hard for me because it came to a realization how much we tried to bury all the BS behind what happened to our women, and how much is gotten away with the society, and how much men think they can get away with us as women. And I've always echoed this because my late dad had said this to me. He said, I'd not be here today if it not be for my wonderful wife. Behind every good man, there's a wonderful woman. And that's true, because we don't see single presidents, you know, and anyone in leader, there's always somebody there to support and guide. And this is what we need, is more support for each other, not just a significant other. We need to support each other rather than say this should be unsaid. Let's put this away now. And I come from a generation where we don't talk about sexual abuse. We don't talk about being beat up. We don't talk about our uncles, our aunties, our parents who have done, you know, wrong, because it's not to be, we're burying it. And I think the more we bring this out, like I said before, it's to help our younger generation, to help them to be more open to each other, to help them support each other, not as I say, do as I say, not as I do. You know, we need them to know that they can trust each other. They can support each other. Put jealousy aside, put what happened. I'm not what my ancestors done. I'm my own personal self. And I'm not what I done 10 years ago. I grew from 10 years ago, yet some people see that mask on me, what I was like 10 years ago. I was an angry young woman. And I grew up knowing or thinking rape was okay. I grew up thinking to beat me is okay. I must have asked for it. I shouldn't have drank. But yes, it falls into our choice, but we need to teach our younger generation, women and men, to respect each other, to treat each other as respectful, and then we'll become stronger people in that sense, rather than, I don't want to talk to her. You know what her uncle did? If we live like that, keep living like that, we'll be separate, and that's not how it should be. We should all be supporting each other, looking at each other as an individual, not as what another person done. You know, and there is change in a person as well, but some don't see that change, what I've been through in my life. I was a very different person 10, 15 years ago. Now today, where I come from a place where I was good for nothing. I was stupid. And I had no voice. How dare you say that to me? And I'm like, what did I do wrong? I did nothing wrong. It's the protection everybody puts up for themselves. and that you don't speak against her. But if we all have a voice, we can all be stronger together rather than sit there and point and hold grudges and or whatever. To forgive even though it's unforgivable. It is unforgivable. Murder is, rape is, assault on anyone is. We should never lay a hand on anyone. And once we put that in the mindset of our younger people, we will be a better generation, I believe, to say, no, you know, it's, to speak more of my sister, she was found by a dumpster in Victoria. I remember the day clearly when I heard it was like being hit in the face by a brick. And her murder is not solved today. And it seems like that'll go nowhere. And this is how we can remember our loved ones, though, and not to stop talking about it, because we'll get nowhere that way. Has it helped us this far? Has it gotten us anywhere this far by not talking about sexual abuse or beatings or murder? It has got us nowhere. We just go along with what the system says, and that's not fair. So let's stand up and be strong together. And thank you for allowing me to be up here. I almost never came because days like this are very hard, about my late sister and my late niece, Holly. She was murdered when she was 3 years old by her stepdad. And it's something my sister had to live with, which I could imagine must have been very hard for her. Because my niece Holly would be 30, I think, 34. She may have been a teacher. She may have been a lawyer. She may have been a nurse. She may have ran for council. She may have been so much and contributed so much to our family, but she never had that chance. And, you know, it's just, let's just try and move forward and be stronger together, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes. Now call up Josephine Joe. Before we go a little farther, I just want to acknowledge Shars Landing for donating the facility today. This facility is owned by Shars. They're here somewhere. And I want to thank them very much for allowing us to be here, use their facility, their sound system, and everything else.
Hello, I'm Josephine Henry-Joe. I just found out about this yesterday. One of my friends sent me the flyer because I'm involved with it. My brother, we graduated here. I have an updated sweater of the men from Duncan, and me and my brother graduated here in 2008 at BAST, when they used to call it. and I didn't want to come up and say anything. I just wanted to be supportive, but my name got put down, so kind of nervous. I wear this sweater to honor my brother and the men, and I got memories around it. So yeah, it's been since August 21st, 2015 when he went missing, and I'm in back in court because I have a lot of memories with him.
My name is Monica Jones. It's my niece here. My nephew lived up here in 2008. He graduated up here. Him and my niece and my other nephew that reside up here. We have many members from Cowichan that are still missing. And I come to join my niece today to share that Ian has been missing since August 2015. In Cowichan, we started a walk. We do a walk. We did 2 walks, but the 3rd and 4th year got shut down because of COVID. We've been searching, a little group of us been searching in the areas where Ian went missing. We searched the bushes, the rivers, everywhere. There's 3 of them in Cowichan that are missing and nowhere to be found. Well, actually 4 now. And we haven't stopped. We started the Cowichan Missing and Murdered Women, Men, and Children for my sister, who went missing in January 1977. She was found brutally murdered in June. She was missing for 6 months. Back then in 77, the RCMP had a lot to do with brutalizing our women. They used to beat them, rape them, take them into places up the mountains and stuff and abuse them, not just them, but the men too. There's ongoing investigations, but so far the Duncan RCMP just passed the files around. We do many walks, many gatherings to show the people that we are still searching and we're not going to give up on them. There's Ian Henry, Desmond Peter, Everett Jones, Ethan Sampson. Those are the men that are missing. And we've become a nonprofit society. We're the Cowichan Missing and Murdered Women, Men, and Children nonprofit society to bring this out more to the government people. I don't recall the year right now. You know, I become emotional listening to everybody speak, as our family has done many walks with our people here all over the island and in Vancouver, and we've even walked to the border, and we'll be doing that again 1 year. 1 month, we haven't made the arrangements, but we walked from Victoria to the USA border to unite with them because there's lots missing over that way also, and we got family down there. And our posters went international. We send it out everywhere. But what we need to do is address Trudeau on his platform when he was first starting to run, that he was going to help us with the missing and murdered. That was his platform. And instead he went towards the pipeline. Instead he went other ways. And today they say they have no funding to help families with the missing and murdered. But they're still sending money to the people that are at war and everywhere else. So what we need now is a call of action to enforce the government to help everyone. I keep sharing that we need to unite. We need to unite as one and make this happen. Our group is in the process of arranging a conference here on Vancouver Island. Like, it's still at the beginning stages, but once it comes, invitations are going to be sent out everywhere. And we need justice. We need justice. We need closure. You know, My niece didn't want to talk, but I'm trying to show my family they all have to get up and talk because we split up. We're a little group, but we split up all over the place because everybody has this going on today in their city. With myself and my family, every day is a mourning day for us. We lost our sister. She was a sister, she was a daughter, she was a mother, she was a granddaughter, but she was also a grandmother, and she never got to see the children, her grandchildren. So it's really hard for us when they mark this day as a national Indigenous Day for the missing and murdered, because we are mourning every day. We are searching every day for answers, and my sister is a cold case unsolved. We have it reopened, and they still say the same, that they don't have enough evidence or the evidence dissolved. That's what they have on her, and I keep picking on the major crime unit in Cowichan for my missing nephews. I pick at them almost twice a week asking for answers. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm becoming on their blacklist now because I keep pushing and I won't stop. And they called out SARS maybe twice in the past year since 2015. Other than that, it's been our family searching everywhere. But my nieces and my nephews lived up here for many years, and that was why she wanted to do this, to join the walk today, because he lived up here, he graduated up here, he came to Cowichan, and that was after he got sick. He came to Cowichan because he was schizophrenic, and he needed to be looked after by his family. And somewhere along that line, he disappeared, and we haven't stopped. And the ones that are missing in Cowichan all have some form of disability. And I can't thank you all enough for what you've done today here. And I know we showed up about 20 minutes late, but we made it. I made it to join my niece, and she created this sweatshirt. She's got a blanket. She's creating stuff to, help keep his memory alive. And thank everybody for what they participated to make this happen. My heart, love, prayers go out to all the families that have someone that's missing or murdered. I've traveled all over and I'm still traveling. I've made it to Ottawa twice addressing this issue of the missing and murdered. I'm going to Toronto at the end of June, so I will miss the walk in Nanaimo where my family has walked with Lisa Yun's family. I won't be there, but some of my other families will be. And we just need to keep voicing ourselves. I'm always saying we are the woman warriors. We have to step up. We have to, combine as one and work through this to make it happen. I thank you all for today. Hitchcock.
Thank you. I have next on my list, Nina.
Okay, my name is Mary Ann Jackson, and two of my relatives have actually gone missing from the same casino from the United States at the Legends Casino in Yakima. My auntie had been looking for her sister for 275 days before the FBI had informed her that her remains were found in an abandoned, unplugged freezer. And her name was Rosenda Strong. I actually have a shirt on, but it's not very visible with all my hair and everything in the way. But her name was Rosenda Strong, and she was 31 years old at the time. She was last seen with one of, well, not that my auntie knows, but somebody that picked her up, and they went to the Legends Casino. and she went missing, and took a very long time for her to be found. And then that was in 2018 she went missing, and then she wasn't found until 2019. I don't have any other details because it wasn't given, but one of my mom's relatives, her uncle Anthony Peters, went missing from Toppenish at the exact same casino. He went missing in 2014. His name is Anthony Colfax Peters. His last seen he was last seen in October 2014. Other than that, I don't really have any information or details because it wasn't given out yet. But we still have, I'm so sorry. We just still have to keep that awareness for him and for my auntie, because like, I'm sorry, it's just so graphic, and I'm sorry, that's all I could say.
Thank you.
There's no one else. I just wanted to say a quick something. That's okay. Okay, we're at the point where the families that had requested to stand in front and share their experience in their life is about closed now. But I really want to take a moment to recognize that there's more families in our room and in our presence right now. And I want you to know that you're cared for, and that the one thing that all of us understand is something terrible happened that should never have. So we want you to know that we're holding you close to us as well. That's what we're doing. And this is in recognition that something wrong happened. And we want answers. We want that. Because our females, our males are incredible, and each deserve to live a full life. So I especially wanted to read the list, however I won't. There is 53 females on our list that have been murdered, that have been suspicious death, and there is 2 still missing. We hear of Lisa Marie Young. Her family does great work keeping her name alive. And we have one other, and most people don't know her. And her name is Margaret Claver. Margaret. And I'm terrible. I don't know if it's Edith Margaret or Margaret Edith. But she went missing across the border, and that's something I just want to say. There is no border. So thinking quietly into yourselves, just for this moment, remember all those, and I'll say have been taken, and all of those that are left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We have three of our leaders in the audience with us. We'd like to invite them up to say a few words. Judith Sayers, Maria. And I believe the Mayor of Minions is here. I seen her standing in the back a minute ago. She's here. She's here. Judith, or Judy, I should say.
Clayco, Uncle Richard. Hello, everyone. And I acknowledge that we are on the territories of the Nuu-chah-nulth and Seshot, and thank them for the opportunity to take this day and to remember those that are lost, those that were murdered, and to remind each of us there is much work to do. Aklama klois hupachasaksu Nuu-chah-nulth. My mother was Beulah Watts Sayers. My father was Eric Sayers. My grandmother was Annie Clohatwa Jack from Nuu-chah-nulth. My grandfather was Dan Watts, who was the Ta'i-ha'with of Nuu-chah-nulth. I am very proud to be the president of the Nuu-chah-nulth Tribal Council and be your voice, joining your voices. I thought when I woke up today to all the rain, I thought it was all tears. Tears of us thinking of precious people that we've lost. You know, after they found the 215 children at Kamloops, and then there was the saying that come out that the children were saying were found at last. And I work for the day when our women will say the same. We have found justice. None of us will stop working. None of us will keep silent anymore. We need to keep reminding people, the governments, the police, the courts. We need to remind everybody, why are women being taken? Why are they stolen? Why is there so little respect for their lives that justice isn't found for them? I was at a conference, speaking at a conference last week, and someone said, I feel so unheard. And I said, just keep speaking. At some point, they're going to hear you, or someone is going to hear you that will make a difference. And that's what we need to do. The other day, they announced some big new police act that is going to bring in a new provincial police force. And a lot of people were very happy about it. And I said, well, a police is a police is a police. What we need to do is change the minds of those officers to value and respect Indigenous people, to value us enough to treat us like they treat everybody else, because we're not. And when we speak up, we remind them of that, and it makes them uncomfortable. But we have to push them enough to make them change. When Mariah and I appeared before the Police Act Committee, we told them we wanted a whistleblower policy, so police could go and say, I know this officer did something racist or did something wrong. Because right now, there's a culture of silence there. And we need those men to be strong and to come forward. The week after next, Martha Martin will be in a coroner's inquest in New Brunswick. They didn't charge the police officer that shot her daughter 5 times. There are no criminal charges. The coroner's inquest can only make recommendations on the changes. And she has a civil case against the police officer. But Chantelle is one of the many Nuu-chah-nulth women who won't have justice. But I ask you to pray for Martha the week after next. She will be in the inquest for over a week. And it's not going to be easy for her, and some of her family are going out to be with her. Just as we are here today to be with all the families who have somebody who went missing, somebody who was murdered. We stay strong because we're together. We lift one another up. We remind each other that we are still here, and we are the ones that need to find the answers. We need to prevent more of our women and girls going missing. Number one, every one of our people are so precious, play such an important role in each of our families and communities. I'm here to work with you, to be with you, to say let's keep going. Nothing can bring us down. No one can bring us down. We are strong. We have to remember that. We need to use our voices. I'm really, really happy to be here with you today to mark this day. I was watching the news this morning, and that kept on rolling across the screen. They were interviewing Indigenous women. We are making a difference. Things are happening, and we can make more things happen for that positive change that we need. Clayco, Clayco.
Thank you, Judy. Call up Mayor Minions.
Go down. She wanted to join. Thank you, everyone. I want to start by thanking the Nuu-chah-nulth Tribal Council for hosting today, for planning this really important event, and the Sishot, thank you, and the Sishot and Nuu-chah-nulth for welcoming us, and specifically for welcoming me and my family to be a part of this really important day. To all of the family members who have spoken today, I want to really thank you for sharing each of your stories. Your family members that have been lost are all of our family members now. They're our community members. They might be lost, but they've not been forgotten, and they're not forgotten because you continue to share their stories. I know it can't be easy to share these stories, and I couldn't imagine having to share one of my own. So I want to really thank you for continuing to do that. It's really important for all of us to continue to hear these stories. My friend Marianne, who spoke earlier today about her two family members lost from the same casino, shared a few days ago that story on social media, and when she shared it, she said, if you're an Indigenous person, it's more likely than not that you have a family member who is a missing or murdered Indigenous woman. And the tragedy of that statement really stuck with me. So I want to just really appreciate the sadness that everybody here who may have family members that have been lost, extended family members, friend, community members, feels not just today, but every day. And again, I really want to thank you for sharing your stories and for welcoming all of us here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mariah, are you? Here we are, hiding in the back there.
I don't know if it's afternoon yet, but good afternoon. Oklas, Luchinsuta, Heshquiaxups, Kinquashtacumflaxups, Ohux Aichum, Munaquin, Och Ish Chisma. My name is Luchinsuta. My English name is Mariah Charleson. I'm from the Heshquiaxup First Nation. I belong to the House of Kinquashtacumth. My parents are Stephen and Karen Charleson. I'm here today as the Vice President of the Nuu-chah-nulth Tribal Council. Before I share a few words with you all today, I would like to acknowledge the traditional and unceded territory of the Nuu-chah-nulth and the Sishot. I'm absolutely honored to participate in the walk today to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Two-Spirit Plus. To continue on something that I heard Mayor Minions just say, The actual statistics are that as a First Nations woman, we are 12 times more likely to end up missing or murdered than our non-Indigenous counterparts. That's a pretty staggering statistic. Just this week, we saw BC table a law that is going to allow us access to different data. It's called the Anti-Racism Data Act. This type of statistics, I think it's going to reveal a lot of truth to all of our people, and I think that those numbers are in fact going to be a lot larger when we really get that true data. We have to understand that the root cause of our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Two-Spirited is colonization. The direct attempts to steal us away from our land, our languages, our culture. When you read through the 1,200 plus pages of the Missing Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls final report, there's over 1,200 pages, and they talk about colonization being the centerpiece, removing our women and girls and all of our ancestors and ourselves from our culture, our languages, our families, and our communities that kept us strong for so many generations. I want to take this opportunity to uplift all of those here who have been impacted by losing a loved one, all of those impacted who are still fighting for justice. We can't forget the names of the women that we've heard today: Chantelle Moore, Lisa Marie Young, Margaret, Claver. Let's not forget those names. It took the inquiry for the missing murdered Indigenous women and girls, the final report, one of the biggest staggering, it was front line of every newspaper across Canada, was something that Canada finally admitted. They finally admitted that the treatment of Indigenous women and girls is in fact a genocide. That's what this is. So in that final report, there was 231 imperative calls to justice. That's what we need to do as political leaders, is call on Canada. We can't sit silent anymore. Let's get working on those 231 imperative calls to justice. When they call them imperative, they're saying that if you don't follow through on these 231 calls to justice, then Canada, you are continuing to commit genocide against our Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirited plus. So that's a commitment that we can all do. And I want all the beautiful young girls. I saw my niece Janelle over here. I saw some other beautiful Angeline Barney, a lot of other beautiful young Nuu-chah-nulth women. I want them to be able to look around in this community, and I want them to look at each one of your faces and know that it's this community, these people who are here, that they can be trusted, they can be relied upon, that they can go to you if they need help. Because that's what we're doing when we stand here today. I'm just here to stand in solidarity. We're not going to stay silent. I stand with everything that Judith has mentioned. We're not going to be quiet anymore. We're going to continue to push our governments to continue the work that needs to be done so that we can finally find some justice. So that's all I'll share for now. Tleko, tleko, chu.
Thank you so much, Mariah, and all the other speakers before her and the family reps that were here today. We want to start to tone down the thing today with, close down with the Warriors Club from the high school. Aaron and his group are going to come up and do some songs for us. Aaron?
Chu, Utlaman, Young Warriors Society, Histukchiklin, Alberni District Secondary School. Our young adults here have created their own society, their own group, due to the things that were happening in our communities, because of the things that are happening in our schools, that are still happening in our schools. One of those subjects was the abuse of our females, our young ladies. We're going back to our roots, the grassroots of how we treat our women, holding our klutzme up on pedestals. They're the very backbone of the Nuu-chah-nulth culture. They're the very backbone of the communities. I have heard that years ago, even our hatwe consulted with the women before they done anything. That's how important they were. That's how important they are. In our high schools today, we're bringing that back. We're bringing that back. We're bringing back that awareness. Waking up. Getting away from that stigmatism that the society has created, that women are objects, that they are less than the men. Boy, I don't know who created that, but boy, is that wrong. Speaking, thinking about our grandparents, our grandmothers, aunties. We're all raised by our klutzme, one way or another. We're raised and we're taught certain ways. In our teachings, hahopchumis, we're taught to sit there, na'ata, listen. Listen, be quiet. I'm telling you something. I'm telling you this because I love you, because I want you to know. Our group here today is things that we talk about. We talk about these things in our times that we have at the school, in our groups. We're spreading that awareness for our young leaders. Our young leaders. It's not us leading them, it's them leading us. We hold them up as well because of what's happening today. It was always said that we bring our tatnes, we bring them to events like this so they see, so they witness what's happening. I have heard some say, I don't know if I want to bring my child to this. I don't know if I want to bring my student to this. And we tell them that. It's because they need to witness, they need to listen, they need to feel. They need to know that their teachma is real, that their teachma counts. We want to share a song with you today on behalf of Alberni District Secondary School Warrior Society. And we're going to hold up all the girls in that school. We're going to hold up all the families that we're speaking of today. Hishukish Zawak, we're all connected. Everything is connected one way or another. So we feel as we heard today. Shoot. Chu, on behalf of our young leaders here, Kleko, Kleko, thank you for your time.
Thank you to the ADSS warriors. Now I'll call on Linus Lucas to do our closing prayer. And after that, we ask you to share a lunch with us. They've been cooking outside, hot dogs, hamburgers. We have some drinks out there for you, water, I believe. So Linus.
Good afternoon. Oh, that one. Hello, everybody. I've been thinking a lot lately, especially with today, regarding some of the things I saw as a child, some of the things I witnessed my mother go through at the hands of my father, my dad. Many of you know my dad as a very powerful politician, argued and fought for the rights of our First Nations people, argued and fought for the fishing rights of our First Nations people, our Nuu-chah-nulth people. Many of us here have stories in our closets about what it is we've really gone through. We can go back to about 4 or 5 generations about what residential school has done to our men. First of all, our men. what many of them have gone through and how they came out of that institution, how they came out of there treating our women, how they came out of there treating our children. And I'm looking at this beautiful young girl here sitting in front of me. One of the things that I've done, my sons and I, my daughters, in hopes of starting to bring back what it is we've been told about, we sat down our young girls right from the day they were born, and we remind them all, as much as we can, how important you are. How important you are to the life of the people here. We all need to bring our young girls back together, sit them at the table, and tell them how important they are to the being of our families. We need to start telling our young men, look at this young lady right here. She is important to each and every member of our family. You, as young men, need to be able to start to protect our girls and forget about what's happened in our past. We have a past that has done away with a lot of our spiritual beliefs. So we all need to start bringing these young ladies here in front of all of the family and start explaining to them what it is that we want to see for us as a family. And I sat down with my grandsons and my sons. I sat my daughters and my wife on a table, and I looked at all my sons and said, I do not want to see any more. All my daughters have been a victim of some sort. I do not want to see any more. You, as my sons and my grandsons, you need to start taking it a step further and protecting these young ladies in my family. We need to get back to the way we think about how it is our women, we're all here because of women. We are all here because of our mothers, our grandmothers, my great-grandmother. My dad had talked about fishing rights. Why we were able to fish in certain parts of territory, it was because of the women. My mother had said that she married into Heshkut, but because she was from a Hausat, my dad had a little bit of, he was allowed to fish in certain parts of a Hausat territory. That was because of my mother, my mother. My dad got his chieftainship from a grandmother of mine. The women in my life have been really important, and it's developed who I am today. And it's because of my mother, my grandmothers, my sons are here. My son went to my mom, and I mentioned already about a little bit of history about what I went through with residential school, and I didn't even attend, but my dad did. We all know about certain punishments we've received through residential school. I didn't attend, but I know what it's like to be called stupid. My dad made the decision not to allow us to go, and he moved here to Port Alberni. That was the very first step. Then came my turn, making sure I didn't say to my children, you're dumber than the day you were born. My son went to my mom and said, Grandma, you should know right now that none of your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, are harmed in any manner now. 4 generations it took us to get to that part in our life, in my family's life. We need more of you all out there to start doing the same thing. We need all of you now to start moving forward and say residential school to us now we can start to say is a myth. It no longer needs to be a part of our life because too many of our young people now we're losing. We're losing the ability to be able to teach them what is right for our women, our young girls, our mothers, our grandmothers. So, in memory of all those women that we've lost and haven't had that opportunity to be sent home, as we all call home, I will do this for them. What to Christ we what to Christ we in a pina is Mama took she's quiet sick ya What to Christ we what to Christ we in a pina is Mama took she's quiet sick ya What to Christ we what to Christ we in a pina is Mama took she's quiet sick ya What to Christ we what to Christ we in a pina is Mama took she's quiet sick ya So, For everybody here, let us not forget we, as parents and grandparents, Ya akuk su'wa ta'atna, I love you, my child. We need to start saying that every day now to our children from this day forth. So many of us as males have never ever grown up with that phrase. We're never ever told that we were loved by our parents. We can start to make those changes. Thank you, everybody. Be safe today. Hug and love your children. Chew.
Thank you so much, Linus, and thank everybody that showed up today, all the speakers, the singers, the drummers, everyone, and all of you for being here today, having the courage to come and listen to some of the things that have been spoken about and the challenges that are in front of us. And with that, I want to end the day with a meal. I see some of you have been eating, but they have been cooking for us outside, hamburgers and hot dogs. You can smell the smoke coming in. So go outside, help yourself, have a meal on us. True Tlaiko. Thank you, everybody.